We must stop the terror. Now watch this drive.
Why are you gay? You are gay.
Okay, welcome to another episode of the Uncle Hack Podcast, solo ep. How are you? We're here. We are what they would consider queer. Anyways, upcoming stand-up dates, August 7th in Leduc, Alberta. August 10th, Phoenix, Arizona. August 15th and 16th, I will be in Edmonton with Nick McQuick at Yuck Yucks. September 5th, a fundraiser to bring back the senior AA team that I had played for back in the day, the Toefield Satellites, which will take place in none other than, you guessed it, Toefield, Alberta, October 3rd in Fernie, BC, October 4th, Castlegar, October 11th in Toronto, October 17th in Berwyn, Alberta, October 18th in Grand Prairie, October 25th and 24th and 25 in Niagara Falls. If you had tickets to the previous date, they are still valid for that. And December 5th. In Red Deer, Alberta, dangercatshop.com for all tickets. You can head on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/dangercat69 to support this podcast. We would really appreciate it. For the cost of a beer a month, you can support this show. Isn't that nice? The Uncle Hack Podcast on Patreon. All links are in the description down below. And now let's get into the episode. Lots of news to talk about. People have been passing away. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. And as well, Ozzy Osbourne. It's a damn shame to watch some of the greats pass by. I know some folks are not very happy. They're not very happy about Hulk Hogan. We politicize way too much shit in this country. You know what? 1 second. I'm going to talk while I'm just stepping aside while I'm over here. We're going to continue the conversation. I will be right back. I forgot to grab a glass of water. I know it. And we're back to the episode that is scheduled. But we politicize a lot of things, and we get upset over the fact that some of these characters that were beloved in our childhood now have political opinions. And I will agree with you. I think it's quite gay myself. But can't we just sit back and appreciate the fact that Hulk Hogan himself said the N-word with a hard R? Can't we just appreciate that? Can't we appreciate that he said it and it got leaked to the internet so we can remember him for truly what he was, a racist? Unlike me, who had two black people on the podcast last week. You know, I know this is upsetting to a lot of folks that there was two black gentlemen here, but we had fun. It was a great conversation, okay? And I had to put my prejudice aside because my disdain for the Canadian entertainment industry is equally on par as people with different skin than me. And sometimes the fight is bigger than what some would call racism. You know, then this has caused an eruption to take place. I do truly, all joking aside, it takes a lot of stones, and I appreciate what Sterling did last week. Because not only, as we've seen with Kill Tony, you know, you get these guys who claim that they have comedy clubs, right? They have comedy clubs, and I put that in air quotations. My apologies. We haven't done a solo pod in a while, but you say, I have a comedy club out. I got the only comedy club in Newfoundland, when in reality, it's just a pub that does comedy on a Thursday night, right? You got karaoke and all this other shit taking place. I don't see Magooby's Chuckle Hut on the front signage of this joint. So what are we doing here? We're just making shit up as we go along in the Canadian entertainment industry, and that's what you do. So when somebody of the stature of Sterling Scott comes onto the podcast and drops the dime on these festivals and everything that's been talked about inside these communities, inside the comedy communities, but nobody wants to come step forward and say it out loud. You know, I think I've been vocal about my thoughts and opinions of said festivals, and does my opinion matter? No. Have I attended any of them? No. Have I been a part of any of them? No. Will I ever be? Not now. But for someone like Sterling to come on this show where most comics are afraid to even attach themselves with us, to perform on the same stage. Now, I know a number of people who have backed out of shows or spots on shows that, somebody has just dropped in on, and they don't want no part. They don't want to share the stage. The show isn't even being promoted that both of these individuals are on, but they back out of the spot for the fear of being in proximity of Danger Cat's comedy. Isn't that? That's how scared these people are. And Sterling came in here with a vengeance, so it was good. And I know, you didn't really press him too much because he was talking his shit, and I like that. I like it. And this has caused something, an eruption. Now people are feeling a little more safe to come out and speak because two individuals who, I've hung out with them a number of times, but off camera, blah, 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 at shows. We know one another. We're friends, right? But to step forward and do it and throw it out on the internet is a chef's kiss. And we applaud him here at the Uncle Heck podcast. It takes a lot of balls to do what he did, and I truly do appreciate that. We're talking about somebody who should be paraded around the countryside as one of the poster childs of stand-up comedy in Canada, but it cannot get spots on the biggest festivals, is pushed to the side, told no numerous times, as you heard if you listened to the episode last week. And then on top of it, the opportunities are given to those that are tremendously less talented than he is. This is a golden buzzer winner on Canada's Got Talent, toured all over the country, and on top of it, the United States of America. This should be somebody that the Canadian entertainment industry gets behind and pushes to a level that they can celebrate, but that's not what they do. And it's great that somebody who's been 18 years in the game had the balls to do it, and on this show. So that's all I really wanted to say about that. I'm very honored, honestly, to be the show that he decided to say those things on. It is a high honor, to be honest, and and the things that are happening now because of it is truly remarkable. Because two guys got together and had a conversation with one another, and that right there. Now the rebels, everybody who's been pushed to the side, the rebels are coming together. And you should be worried. You should be worried that all of a sudden now things are so bad in Canada that listen, I know those of you that listen to the show religiously, okay, things you may hear me bitch about these things, but let's put this into context. Let's paint the image for you. Okay, I know not many of you are not here because you care about what's going on in the Canadian comedy scene. I know that for a fact. But things are so bad that what I would say one of the most prolific black comedians in the country comes onto a podcast that the CBC has spent the past year calling a known racist. That's how bad things have gotten. Now, think about that. Think about how bad the Canadian entertainment industry has to be that somebody like Sterling, okay? Now, does he believe the headlines? Of course not. Anybody who reads CBC and believes it needs a lobotomy at the end of it. Now, you know what I mean? They need a lobotomy. But he felt more comfortable coming over here and speaking his shit with somebody who the national media, the federally funded national media, has tried to slander and kill. They've tried to kill my comedy career with their headlines, but they've only emboldened us. See, now you've pushed us you've pushed these guys all in the corners. You fucked with them so much that they'd rather hang with us. Isn't that something? That's something that these idiots that run these like censorship shows where you're like, you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't do this. And then the fucking crazy white boys come around, these honkies that truly don't give a fuck are invited. Hey, don't worry about it. You can say whatever you want over here. We don't give a shit. Come have fun. That's what we like to do. We like to fuck around. You like to fuck around? No way. So do I. Come fuck around. And now you've pushed them out of your circle, which are the same rhetoric that you spew, you're against now, is like, we're all about inclusivity, except You have to be the certain type of black. You got to be you got to hate white people to be over here. And we're just like, you can hate white people. We're not going to tell you, hate white people all you want. I don't give a shit. Are you funny? We care about one thing. Are you funny? We don't care how it fucking, you want to go show your cock for Palestine? By all means. You want to be butt fuck for Israel? Have at it. Do you make people laugh? If so, come fuck around. That's what you want to fuck around? Speaking of fucking around, let's get into it. Top of the hour. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. Matthew Good cancels his American dates. Okay? Now you're asking, who's Matthew Good? He was Matthew Good Band. Does that ring a bell? The Matthew Good. Does that ring a bell? Do you remember the Matthew Good Band from 1993? Do you remember them? You don't? Oh, you weren't born yet? Ah, right. Oh, you don't have Canadian radio where you're from, so you didn't get this force-fed music down your throat? Of the Matthew Good Band, you didn't get that? Well, let me tell you. Matthew Good, Canadian musician Matthew Good cancels U.S. shows to protest Trump tariffs. Oh my God, we're really doing it. Can we stop with this? Anyways, let's get into the article. Canadian musician Matthew Good has announced that he's canceling his U.S. tour dates in protest of U.S. President Donald Trump's government and its ongoing tariffs policy. Wow, we're doing it. Elbows up, elbows up, elbows up. We're doing it. We're really taking it to the Americans. We're sending our best down there, or pretending to send our best down there, and removing them. Now, the 45 people that are going to be upset over the fact that Matthew Good is not going to play some bar shows, and where was it? Let me find it. We got to go all the way down. Where was he playing? It's not even in here. My God. Okay. It was 4 shows. 4 shows that Matthew Good canceled in defiance against Donald Trump's tariffs. Now, the Americans, I tried looking up some American news outlets. Not one's reporting on this, okay? Now, the elbows up people feel like this is a big win. Good, 54, made the announcement Saturday on Facebook telling his U.S. fans that he cannot, in good conscience, carry out my dates this summer in your country. It was 4 dates. Last I looked, I seen 4 dates that got canceled. The Load Me Up rocker pointed to Canada's cancellation of digital service tax on Canadian revenue of companies such as Amazon, Google, and Meta as a factor in the decision. Oh, we're really, anyways, let's get through this. This is not fair to you, and I'm very aware of that. But the truth is, every week that goes by, I have a deeper disdain for what's going on there politically. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Let's shoot yourself in the foot in defiance against a country that could care less whether or not you were heading down there, the 4-time Juno winner wrote. My world has always focused on political awareness, and I know that you might not all be on the same side, so I want to be clear about this. It's my opinion, and I'm willing to risk my future U.S. career to stand up against things today, and God willing, for only another 3 years. Let's keep in mind that this guy has now been dropped from the Canadian Mental Awareness Association or something like that. His record label has also dropped him. His band no longer tours with him. I tried looking up whether or not he was on the U.S. Billboard Top 100. Could not find that. I also put in 0 effort to look into it. Now, this is the problem I have with Canadian artists, okay? You want to take a stand. It's very known that Matthew Good battles with mental health, and we wish him well with that. But let's also reel it in a little bit. Let's have some self-awareness, why don't we? Do you see me taking a stand right now against America? No, because no one would give a shit. Okay? What do I got? Fucking 15 fans down there? Let's be honest. Me and Matthew Good are on if I'm going to pit myself in 2025 on Canadian relevancy in the States, Matthew Good and I are looking at each other right in the eyes, okay? Him and I are looking at, we could do one show in America each that could be considered a sellout. And that's gathering all of our fans and putting them into the same room. That's east to west coast, all right? So for either of us to make a stand is ridiculous, okay? Just cancel the tour due to low ticket sales, okay? It's not financially feasible. Stop giving yourself an excuse. Just admit the truth, okay? It's not worth it to you. It's not worth it to you. And that's fine, okay? It's fine. You don't have to be one of these guys that's selling out stadiums. Not everybody's going to be a Nickelback, and that's okay. I think that I'm going to be a Norm Macdonald? No, I don't. Okay, I don't. Do I want to believe in myself? Of course, but when reality settles in, and you got to look in the mirror and tell yourself you ain't there yet, it's okay. But don't paint this as its defiance against the U.S. president and the current political climate. Can we stop with that? It does nothing. Oh, well, you want to know what I don't even know where he was playing. But I'm going to go with whatever locations that he was playing, they filled the slot. I'm sure another artist stepped up to the plate and covered those dates. The businesses were not hurt. You are just looking like a fool, and you give this false hope, this false reality, as if like we are doing something as Canadians against the U.S. economy because Matthew Good didn't go down and play his hit songs from 1996. Now you got these morons, these fat idiots that just gobble up every article from the CBC. Look at this, Matthew Good, he took a stance. And when you have to explain who Matthew Good is to your political opponent, and you're like, Matthew Good canceled his tour, elbows up. And the question in return isn't, anything like, oh my God, really? It's, who's Matthew Good? Don't you remember? He played that song, Time Bomb. It was on every fucking alternative radio station, the pop radio stations across the nation in 1996 to 1998. It was a hit song. What are you, silly? And you have to sit there and pull the song up and listen to it and be like, I think I remember this. I think because, a lot of families listened to FM radio back in the late 90s that I might recall this, but I was also a very small child. Now, I recall Matthew Good. I watched a lot of Much Music. We would take long car rides and his music would be on the radio, the Matthew Good Band, now him as a solo artist. I couldn't name a new song. Okay? The Load Me Up. When was this? Let's Load Me Up. Matthew Good. 1999. 1999 for those in the back. The Load Me Up rocker pointed to Canada's cancellation of digital. Yeah, we already went over that. Recently it was announced. Oh God. Let's look at his press release on Facebook. Let's take a little gander. Let's look a little boo at this. 388 likes. Why can't I see how many comments are on this? I am an American and I am horrified. Not just what is happening to your country, but in this country too. Enough. I did not ever think of something of this troubling significance would ever occur in my lifetime. Yesterday, the Prime Minister resigned. Today, the incoming president of the United States. Okay, so he posted this 28 weeks ago. Oh, God. My family fought in the Second World War for freedoms and sovereignty of this nation. And that's another thing we got to stop with, okay? My grandfather fought for this country. Yeah, your grandfather also called black people the N-word in parking lots and didn't want to eat at the same dinner table with them, whatever. Your grandfather also had, he was very prejudiced towards any other race. He didn't consider Italians white, okay? Can we stop with this? My grandfather fought fascism. Yeah, and he also hated the blacks. What are we talking about? What the fuck are we talking about? My grandfather fought a war for this country. Yeah, your grandfather also threw rocks at Chinese people. What are we talking about? Enough with it. We love to use this as an excuse. Both sides. My the skinny dorks that wrap themselves up in these punk rock fucking outfits, They put spikes on their shoulders and we're supposed to be feared by this anorexic fucking villain. Anorexic Power Rangers villain. I don't know. We're riffing. We're having a good time. Because they wear stilettos, Looks like a KISS member has an eating disorder that I'm supposed to be scared because you spray painted a fucking X through a swastika? You got me. That or they're always fat. You don't see the in-shape metalheads are always the ones that, I've never really seen the jacked metalheads. They're always a little more conservative. And then it's the anorexic ones with the fat girlfriends. Or it's the really obese ones that have the fucking smash the fash. It's fucking you're smashing the mashed potatoes, brother. Enough with this. Can we stop? Can we stop using World War II as a point of reference of you're this way because your grandfather fought that war. Yeah, your grandfather got upset when fucking minorities moved into the neighborhood. He still does. If he's still alive. My grandfather fought for this country. Yeah. And he would be irate to see what it is today. He would be irate to see what the country has become today. And I'm not even saying that from a political stance to be to garner any sort of support from anybody listening to this. I'm just saying what the fucking truth is. Your grandfather would walk, if you took your grandfather to any city, large or small, in this nation who fought in World War II and let him walk around, I think he would probably have a few slurs that slip out of his mouth. Because it demographically, I think we can, the truth is forbidden. God forbid, don't speak the truth anymore. But God forbid, you take that guy, you revive your grandfather who fought in World War II and take him to a shopping mall now and see what he has to say. What do you think he's going to have? I fought for this. This is what I fought. I fought for this. I fought so that all of North India could move here. That's what he fought for. Yeah, no, he fought tooth and nail against the Nazis. So that way, it's hilarious to me. It's hilarious to me to listen to these idiots. It's even these elbow up morons right now that are trying to take the same stance that Matthew Good is right here by being I'm not going to America. Don't deprive the child out of Disneyland because dad has a stick up his ass about his political opinions. Just take the kids to Disneyland. You think they care? You're going to sit down and try to lecture your son and daughter about why you're not taking the fucking trip that you've promised them for the past 5 years. These kids are now 5, 6, 7 years old. Don't worry. Once dad gets the big raise, we're going to take you to Disneyland, right? But now you don't want to go because Donald Trump is in office. Is that what it is? We can't go. Just admit you're broke. We can't go because Donald Trump's the president of the United States. Just say you're broke. Okay, tell the kids we're in a bit of a financial crisis right now, and it's not going to get any better. Daddy over here is acting like a retard because he's convinced himself that he's got to buy Canadian, which is about 400% more than all the American products on the shelves. But somehow we're fighting some goddamn economic war that I'm not even involved in nor care about. But I want to do my part. We're not going to be going down to Disneyland because Daddy doesn't like Donnie. Enjoy your fascist son once he turns a teenager, when he realizes that Dad's a homosexual. Okay. Because that's what's going to happen. Is that what you want in the family? You want your son and daughter all of a sudden turning to alt-right content because you didn't take them to the happiest place on earth? It's going to be your fault. And then you're going to scratch your head and be like, how did my son become the very thing that I hate? It's because you didn't take him to go see Minnie Mouse because you lied to him. You lied to him. And it's all your fault. You know, you could have just told them the truth. Listen, the bills are a little tight right now. We're behind on credit card payments. The mortgage is behind about 3 months. We're $200 from bankruptcy. But instead, you sat your 5-year-old and your 6-year-old down and you started lying to him saying, listen, we can't go to America because Donald Trump is in office. And then the kids go, well, who's Donald Trump? They start looking in, Donald Trump, kind of funny. A lot of funny memes about this guy on the internet. He's a bit of a chuckle, he gets a chuckle out of me. And next thing you know, they're down the pipeline of right-wing content. Your 10-year-old now, because kids get older, right? And your 10-year-old now is listening to Nick Fuentes and who's that other, who's the 9/11 guy? Who's it? Not Alex Jones. He might tap into a little Alex Jones, starts going down that rabbit hole, and all of a sudden this Christian alt-right content is being force-fed in his fucking brain day in, day out, and left his dad because he didn't take him to Disneyland. Now has a fascist in the house, and it's all your fault. Take the kids. Who gives a shit? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? You're going to deprive your children of happiness because your political views don't align with somebody who doesn't even know your first goddamn name? Take the kids to Disneyland. Why am I the voice of reason now? Why am I sitting here on this podcast and I've become the voice of reason for you dickheads? You tell me. Why am I sitting here and being like, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Oh, the tariffs. You don't even know what a tariff is. No one knows what a tariff is. Every moron talking about tariffs doesn't know what a tariff is. Matthew Good. You think Matthew Good? He's got 388 likes on the goddamn post about him not going to the United States. 388 likes. You've posted, your daughter is posting photos of her in a bikini with her ass out and tripling that. And she's barely got any followers. How many followers this dickhead got? How many followers? 2,000. 2,000 followers? What are we talking about? And now he's playing Vancouver. Vancouver said selling fast. Where are you playing? Where are you playing? Where is the tour? Give me the tour dates. Bands in town. Where are you playing in Vancouver? I swear to God, if it's a pub, I'm going to fucking snap. The Commodore Ballroom. So everybody, and he's trying to sell the ticket for $400. Oh my God, this country is mentally unwell. Matthew Good and I Am Me. Who the fuck is I Am Me? I Mother Earth. Matthew Good and his band. So it's not and I Mother Earth are teaming up to sell a $400 fucking ticket. Are you fisting me? What does that come with? Who's paying that? But this is what I mean. I took a stance. Now I'm going to rape my own people. I did something good. Where are you playing in Edmonton? Midway Music Hall. Okay, not bad. We're going to look at one more. VIP upgrade. Where in Calgary? What do we got? The Grey Eagle Event Center. selling okay, this is a little better. General admission for $54. $400 to try and fucking, okay, 54. Now that's all right. Okay. A $54 ticket to watch some guy that had Junos. What do you have? 4 Junos? Yeah, there you go. That's reasonable. I spent too much time on this asshole. But that's all I'm saying. You want your kids to turn into right-wing fucking lunatics? That's what you do. You keep doing this shit. You keep doing this grandiose, beat your chest and deprive them of any sort of happiness in their childhood because you wanted to get political about how you spent your money. Okay? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to take your kids to the enchanted forest or have animatronics of fucking Cinderella? No! Your kids will hate you. The eyeballs are falling out of it. We all know the enchanted forest in Canada compared to Disneyland is not even in comparison. It's like, you want to see Matthew Good? You want a Matthew Good ticket for $400 goddamn dollars? Is that what you want? Or do you want to go see Metallica? In anywhere. Pick the city. How about we go back to where they originated in Copenhagen? I believe it was Copenhagen. Somewhere over there. Anyways, doesn't matter. Do you want to see where... Because Vancouver, right outside, I believe he's from Coquitlam, so it's close by. So the Vancouver show, you want to see Matthew Good in his hometown, or do you want to see Metallica in their hometown? It's not even in comparison. We're going to listen, kid, we're going to take you to the animatronic enchanted forest where, the voice is growly on the cute little bears, like we got Goldilocks. We got everything that you don't want to see. Everything that you don't want to see, we're going to take you to, and you're going to enjoy it. Because Daddy is standing in defiance against the current U.S. presidency. Get the fuck out of here. I've had enough of this shit. You can't even argue with people politically anymore that do pick a team. You can't, because you look at them and you're like, fucker, is everybody this stupid? Is everybody this stupid? It's bad when I'm saying like, oh, are you dumb? Like, we got a fresh story, fresh off the press. This is fucking awesome right here. From Juno News, Quinn Patrick with True North. Exclusive. Man removed from flight for wearing Trudeau blackface shirt. A Nova Scotia. Now, many of you thought that this was me because I just put a photo of the headline over top of it where if you would have read just the subtext on it, a Nova Scotia man, I'd be more embarrassed to say that I'm from Nova Scotia than to ever, and I mean ever, whatever else. A Nova Scotia man was removed from an Air Canada flight for wearing a shirt that featured an image of former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in blackface, which the cabin crew found to be too offensive. When did we ask the cabin crew what's offensive? When did we ask the cabin crew what's offensive on an Air Canada flight? When I hop on that flight, you know what I want? I want you, don't lead with bonjour. Bonjour. No. Enough. I was ready to start swinging in Montreal. That's the first time I've ever been in that city, and I think the last, and I didn't even leave the airport. You know what I mean? I didn't even leave the airport. Bonjour. Enough. Get away from me. Don't touch me. I don't want to hear any of that shit. Comment Appel 2? Yeah. I'm going to fucking give you a Comment Appel 1-2 here if you don't get the hell away from me, you stinky bitch. I had enough. I get it. I imagine they feel the same way about listening to me speak English. And I understand that. Because I can put myself in your shoes. I wouldn't like me either. That's fine. Hey, some English pig. Shut up, Frenchman. Gob of peanut butter in your mouth and you think you're sexy with that gay accent. Enough. I don't want to hear it. Ugh. Anyways, Air Canada. I had to fly Air Canada just recently, and my God. Not the worst flight. I will give it. I wasn't the worst. The worst I've had is probably a WestJet or a Flair Airlines. Anyways, it's enough about me. It's more about this man. A Nova Scotia man was removed from an Air Canada flight for wearing a shirt that featured an image of the former Prime Minister in blackface, which the cabin crew found to be too offensive. Why are we asking the cabin crew on what we feel is offensive or not? Can't you just let the guy wear the shirt? Daniel Greaves was sitting in his seat on a plane bound from Edmonton to Vancouver. Hilarious. Waiting for the aircraft to leave the tarmac when he was first notified of the problem regarding his clothing. Greaves, who flies frequently to and from his work in northern Alberta, said he'd worn the shirt while flying before without any issue. Oh, it's a post. Well, yeah. What do you care about the clothing? What do you care about the clothing? So if we're going to get to that point, can somebody walk on and like, what if you find like certain hats offensive? Do you find certain hats offensive? Some people wear different hats. Some people got different hats. Do you find that offensive? If maybe some people wear very large bucket hats. Do you find that offensive? What about people that fly from Mexico and they buy a sombrero on vacation? Do you get upset over the fact that a white family has bought a sombrero? Maybe a Punjabi family has bought a sombrero on their Mexican vacation and they're bringing it back to the great lands of Canada. Are you going to make a statement there? Why are we giving these people any power? Just serve the fucking shitty snacks. The shitty snacks. You know what I mean? You can't even give me a full can of pop. You can't even give me you have to give me some shitty small glass of pop. That should be the extent of your power, is controlling how much liquid I can consume that you're able to handle or hand to me. That's it. That's the extent of your power. Okay? To determine on what is offensive or not, that is out of your realm. Because the cabin crew is a little upset. You know what? Enough. I'll take the peanuts over the cookie. I don't want the celebration cookie. Give me the peanuts. I'll have the peanuts. Sir, you got to get off this flight. I'll have the peanuts and a coffee, please. Sir, you need to get off this flight due to you. I said I don't want the celebration cookie, you cunt. Now you can kick me off. Now I make the rules. I'm being derogatory to the flight staff. You are now welcome to punt me off this flight. Bonjour. Tout le monde. Holy Christ. It is hilarious. A plane bound from Edmonton to Vancouver. Hilarious. Of all places. Of course it's heading to Vancouver. So that means more than likely, if I'm a gambling man, that flight is a back and forth where that flight crew came from Vancouver and is now heading back to Vancouver, would be my guess, seeing as it's more of an international hub in Vancouver. I wonder if this guy's going to sue him. And now it's catching fire on Twitter. It's catching fire. I like when this type of shit happens. I do. You want this image to die? Stop doing this shit. You know, if you want this image to fall to the wayside, you have to stop doing this shit. You are only giving it more power. See, I'm not even taking a political stance on this image. I don't care. Whatever. The prime minister that I didn't enjoy. I didn't like his politics. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I was a fan of him by any means. But I will sit here and say this. If you find this image to upset you and I learn that, I'm going to wear it more. Only because I'm a dickhead. Okay? I have to admit this. I have to look inward. Why do I enjoy this image? And it has nothing to do with my political stance. I find the image hilarious that the former Prime Minister of Canada had not one, not two, not three, but 4 images surface of him doing blackface. Now that's all we know. That's all that's been photographed. And the funniest one is he thought it was great to stick the tongue out. Now, I understand it was a different time and you could get away with something like this and everybody found it funny. And now in the era of where he wants to be the woke prince of Canada, it comes around to bite him in the ass, which is hilarious. That's also funny about the image, right? But then to sit here and because he was your savior for the past decade, you have to defend this. Meanwhile, also, being upset at people that want to wear the image, okay? This is your prince of darkness. The darkness, baby, the darkness. And now you have to sit here and eat crow while this man's image, it is forever in the ether. This image is forever going to be in pop culture, comedy, you name it. Because when you do shit like this, because you kick this man off the flight, now people like the image again. You kind of forgot about it. We laugh about it, right? You didn't bring it up, but now because people are getting punted off of planes for wearing this, you popularize the image. Now people know it upsets some folks, so now they're going to be more emboldened to wear it out in public more often because it still holds some power over people. And that's what you dumbasses don't realize. It has nothing to do with a fuck you towards Trudeau. Most people just want to wear the image because it just upsets people. And some of us just really enjoy being a dickhead in public. If you don't have to say anything and you can upset somebody with the image of someone doing blackface, you've done enough. You've done enough. And you get to feel good about yourself for the rest of the day. You know what I mean? That's what they don't understand. Is the more you try to ban folks for wearing this, and first off, you're the cabin crew. The cabin crew kick somebody off a plane because it was too offensive. This is definitely a lawsuit coming. Daniel Greaves is about to make some cash. Maybe like now, he's 62 years old, works in northern Alberta. Of course he's going to have this shirt. Of course. He's probably got 3 copies. Now, I don't know if this is a Danger Cats copy. I'm not quite sure. But if it is, I salute you. It looks like it could be. It looks like it could be, which is hilarious. If we could see the inside tag, that would have been amazing. Amazing that this gentleman gets kicked off a plane for wearing that shirt. Where does it end? You want to control the folks of Canada, but you're just causing us to be like, this is what you want. This is what you create, okay? This is what you create. I sit here, I want to be a good guy, but you force me to be a bad one. You force me to be a bad one. I got to sit here and I got to team up with the blacks in Canadian comedy because that's who's left. That's who's left, okay? Because they're the only ones that want to fuck around like this. They want to wear blackface shit. They want to upset people. They don't care anymore. You've pushed them over here. That's what they don't understand. You don't get it. You never will. It's too much for you to comprehend. You've treated people so poorly. And that's left-wing politics here in Canada. I don't know what it is because I don't experience it, but when we have these subgroups of people, the left has treated these people, right? The ones that they should be pushing above and being like, hey, lead the charge on it. But their egos are much bigger than the ones that are actually talented. So they have to suppress those that are much talented or more talented than they are to bring them down to their level because they have nothing to offer. So by doing that, you put roadblocks in front of them. And we're going back, and what I'm discussing right now is like comedy. This is what happens. They suck. So how do you make these guys that are above them suck as much as you take away some tools in their tool belt, but then you slowly start to realize that they're talented enough that no matter what tool you take away, they're still good at it. That's how someone like Sterling is in a position where he is because he can play the game. He's so talented at stand-up comedy that he's able to play the game however you want to put it and crushes. That's an 18-year guy in the game. And now you've gotten to the point where you've poked and prodded him to be something that he's never going to be, that he's now hanging out with the crazy white boys, that he wants to come on the podcast and air his bullshit because you've poked and prodded your golden goose, and now he's saying, fuck you. That's like Hulk Hogan going to the NWO and dropping the leg on Macho Man. That's what happened last week. And now, all of a sudden, the white boys, you've been calling us names now for a minute, haven't you? You've been calling us some pretty nefarious things for the past year, haven't you? You've been saying that we're, white nationalists? Is that what it was? White nationalists? Then you have that retard Luke Lawrence go on fucking Kill Tony and drops neo-Nazi. Or apparently they're neo-Nazis or something, you fucking idiot. You got that. And now all you've done is now like people, their curiosity is spiked. Oh, what's going on over there? What is going on over there that's so bad that these things are being said about them? What is happening? What are they doing? The curiosity spikes. And then the media gets behind it and tries to drive a knife through our fucking stomachs, but we dodge the knife. And now you've treated everybody who's so great in this country, talented, actual talent, so poorly that they want to fuck around with the retards. Are you proud of yourself? Did you accomplish what you were set out to do? Is that what you wanted? You wanted us to die, but you just pushed more people into this corner. That's all you did. You emboldened us. You've now gave us an opportunity to work with one of the best in the country. The best in the country. And I say that wholeheartedly. I respect Sterling for what he's done in stand-up comedy. And I don't give a fuck, man. I'm tired of this fucking white boy, blah, blah, blah. Even when you fucking, some of these dipshits that were like, I can't believe you would go to a fucking venue that's ran by East Indians. They're the only ones taking us. The honkies are too scared. They're the only ones that are being like, hey, come do our venue. Yeah, I'm going to go tell jokes like I give a shit. Once you guys get some balls, and maybe a spine, put a stage somewhere. I don't even care if it's a fucking bar with 6 pallets on the ground. Screw some plywood to the top of it. I'll come tell jokes on it. But until some of you grow a fucking spine, I guess I got to go over there because that's the only ones giving me a playground to play in. The rest of you are, I don't know. They said something in the news about these guys, some hearsay bullshit. I run a comedy club that does fucking karaoke nights on Fridays, which should be the peak night for stand-up comedy. We do Thursday night comedy. Thursday night, and you're calling it a club? What are you, dumb? You're calling it a comedy club ran by a comic who cancels comics? This seems like some 9/11 bullshit. Fucking moron. I'm getting heated. I don't even care. Light a match, burn it to the ground. But that's how bad it's gotten, folks. That's how bad that the black dudes want to fuck around with the honks. Not just the honks, the most ridiculed white boys in the nation. That's how bad it's gotten. Now, when you scratch your head, now scratch your head and really think about that. Really try and fucking think about that. It has gotten so bad out there for Canadian comics to try and break through that the guys that are walking around with their cocks in their hands and a belt around their neck, jacking off wherever they go, seem to be the ones that the people want to fuck around with the most. Because everybody else has rules. They got regulations. You can't say this, you can't do that, you got to be this, you got to be that. We got to check boxes before you can even step foot in the building. And we're over here and be like, do you have 10 minutes? Huh? Oh, what's that? Oh, my apologies. I couldn't see through my hood. I didn't know who I was talking to. Come on in, Sterling. Holy shit! I can't believe it. I'm a part of something. Culturally, I've had an awakening towards something here this past week. Is now I've become a part of something that is now bigger than myself, but it involves myself. And to be a part of that while also being kind of ignorant to it, you got to be ignorant to it or else it may eat at you. Some folks, it would destroy them. Some folks, they don't know what to do with that. It can inflate your ego. It can cause you to believe things that aren't true about yourself, where you are talent-wise, because you can have this influence that comes with it. And I'm not saying that I have influence that can shake the whole comedy community, but I do rock with two guys that can put the fear of God into some of these folks when they come walking in through doorways, okay? When we're in a room, and you can feel it. Because everybody, you can tell the ones that are playing stupid too. Because they probably talk some shit. And now you're around. Hey, man, how's it going? You pop up. Hey, man, how's it going? Look, I'm sorry what's happening. No, you're not. You would step on the back of my fucking head and put my head deeper into that puddle of water to watch the last bubble of air leave my stillless body so you could get a guest spot on a show. Okay? I'm not buying it. And now you got 3 mercenaries who are teaming up with other mercenaries who are teaming up with more mercenaries, and shit's about to go down. Now everybody who's been walking around trying to, scheme their way into something are now being exposed for the frauds that they actually are. And that is a beautiful thing. See, you can't convince me with money. You can't convince me with your materials, your goods. You can't convince me with that. Because the lawlessness in the rush that comes with it cannot be satisfied by material things. That's the enjoyment I get out of this, So when somebody, that's like, I hate this question. This is a question that I've had to sit back and really think about, because it gets asked a lot. Well, you're making good money? What's good money? What's good money to you? Well, I don't know. You went from the oil patch to doing stand-up comedy. Are you making good money? I get to do whatever the fuck I want. I get to wake up and do whatever. I have an idea in my head. I get to do it. You don't get that. You don't have that freedom. And when you get that freedom, you don't want to give it up. You don't want to replace that with a dollar amount to go and fucking zip up a top. Hello, I'm here to pretend that I give a shit about the marketing strategy behind this yop. The yogurt drink. Every morning I wake up and I crunch numbers over a yogurt drink that we're trying to market to children in replacement that's just littered with sugar. Every morning I give a shit about that. I pretend to give a shit about that, and I numb myself with pills to stop me from driving into a light standard. I jack off. When I come, it looks like a sad clown trying to spit. That's what it looks like. The end of my nose is beaten red because I jack off all day long. That's all I can do. Even when I come, it's sad. That's how bad it is. So you can't replace that with anything. I get the enjoyment of allowing my thoughts to entertain others. I don't have an HR department, as you can tell. I don't have to answer to some moron in an office. I don't have to wake up every fucking day and pretend I care about what I do. Because I actually do. And no dollar amount can ever replace that. So the question of are you making good? I'm making great money because I get fucking something most of the people on this planet don't, and it's freedom. the freedom of saying whatever the hell I want, the freedom of creating my own schedule, the freedom of seeing North America, doing something I love. And that's why I appreciate every single one of you that comes to shows, because you allow me to do that. Now, would I guess, in turn, if it goes south, do I continue doing what I'm doing? I will definitely try. Do I lose or gain fans? It happens. Some people don't like me anymore, and that's fine. I can live with that. I can live with that. And I just appreciate more having this freedom. So all I got to say is thank you to everybody listening to another episode of the Uncle Hack Podcast. We will see you next week, Thursday, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. For those that want to support the show, head on over patreon.com/dangercats69. We will have an episode up shortly for you. All right. Good night, everybody.